Well, how to respond to the British Museum is a massive question, and obviously one that was pretty daunting for us. As soon as you go to the British Museum, of course, you're confronted with amazing works by other architects, including the original 1840 smirk, including the work completed by Foster and Partners in 2000. But the difference for us is our building is really a support facility. When you read the brief, it's quite interesting. It's like really heavy on logistics, storage, conservation, things like pest management, anoxia chambers. It's all the kind of support facilities that the museum used behind the scenes to put on the great exhibitions that they do.
The site originally looked like the rear end of a Victorian hospital, if I could be honest. Kind of heart sank a little bit to think, gosh, we're not doing the big kind of entrance building sequence here, we're looking at something which I've now realised is immensely important. Research building that keeps the collections relevant.
We knew very much from the briefing and all the tours around the building the kind of things that they couldn't do because of their previous building. So conservation, for example, was in 9 workshops dotted around the museum, some of which were off-site. They couldn't x-ray anything larger than a cat just because the x-ray suite was so small, whereas we have this massive kind of 6 by 10 by 10 x-ray suite that you can drive into with a forklift. So seeing things like that in action is really amazing. It's kind of heartwarming.
We suggested that the one area you had access to ground was where you could sink all of the primary archive storage, where one could use less energy to basically temper and maintain steady state temperature controls. And then we would move all of the upper levels to have a special exhibition that could take the whole site, big flexible space. And then up above, we could have all of the support areas which were for the conservation studios above.
So of course the other issue is how do you sit a new building next to a Grade 1 listed John Burnet King Edward building, which had been on Montague Place since 1914. So putting a building in that's effectively 100 years younger, but trying to find an appropriate language of expression using materials that are sensitive, but doing it in a very modern way.
It's a way of creating this placard-like approach of a stone that we reference to the main building. We could never replicate stone that's been in the weather for 200 years. So we used the very heavy roach stone. You may see it's full of fossils. There's something rather nice about that because there's a lot of fossils kicking around down in the storage currently. What we didn't want to do was say this is an entrance. It's a real subtle hierarchy problem. We're not trying to say, look at us. So I suppose for us as architects, we're not necessarily always known for being quiet and polite. It was an interesting study in calm